Good afternoon everyone, my name's Oliver Crew, I'm the project leader for YHelp at Barking and Dagenham College. I work mostly on the game mechanics and the tie-in mobile app mechanics.
Hi, I'm Nadia. I worked mostly on the storyline design, the battle interface and the tie-in app interface.
Hi, I'm Nathan. I was basically in charge of concept art for most of the game.
My name is Kevin Jones Thomas and I'm a character illustrator for the game.
Okay, what is YHelp? So, we kept the name YHelp because the main aim of the game is to get people to realise why people help each other. We want to educate them on the fact that when people are in hard times, they need help. So we want this to appeal mostly to a male audience, but also to a female audience, mainly because the death rates by suicide is so much higher in the males, 3.5%, what I researched. So we want it to be mainly to appeal to the male audience. So it's going to be a 3D animated online game that encourages physical well-being by encouraging physical fitness, and encourages emotional well-being by getting people to connect with each other and talk to each other. The medium of game was chosen because it is an interactive and immersive way to educate people on the fact that when in hard times, help is needed. And the game will be available on computers and consoles and the phone.
Okay, so the story. The story is relatively simple. Basically, the player's character gets sucked into their computer and ends up in this hole, basically filled with a bunch of monsters which feed off negative emotion. The metaphor being that the hole is basically suicide and the monsters are different things that lead to suicide. And basically the goal is for the hero to beat the monsters and basically escape the hole, not necessarily through violence, but through all sorts of means, like help, working with other people, seeking out help, and trying to figure out what's making them feel bad about themselves. And okay, let's move on to concept art. Okay, so basically for the concept art, I went with a jungle forest sort of feel, because like basically in the forest you see animals like predators hiding in the trees. Like I was thinking that would be the same for monsters since most of the time depression doesn't. Most people with depression, they're not always super upset. Like depression sneaks up on them and they suddenly start feeling really bad all the time. So I was like that. So basically the monsters are hiding in the trees basically, and then they come. Okay, let me restart that.
Should we go to the next slide?
Okay, so one of the key features that was stressed in the original solution idea was that the design of the battle interface was going to be similar to that of the game Undertale. So as you can see from the images of Undertale's interface above and the YHelp interface that I designed below, they share a lot of common features such as a lot of the colour scheme, the actions that can be taken, such as like fight, item, act, etc. And but there are also a lot of differences. So our characters will be completely 3D animated, and additionally there'll be an ask for help feature. So there'll be features that Undertale doesn't have. And when fighting, instead of the kind of heart battle design where that Undertale has, where the heart avoids obstacles, the characters will be physically animated to battle, but it wouldn't be too graphic because of who the target audience is. So we designed it like this because we wanted to sort of merge the newer style of like 3D graphics with kind of the older style of like the menu that Undertale has, like the interface where you can choose different options.
So who is it for? We want this game to be as widely available to any ages, so people of any age. So we designed this game to be rated P7, meaning that anyone in Europe over the age of 7 can play the game. So the way we achieve this is by focusing less on the graphical violence in the boss fights and focusing more on the problem solving and interactions between players.
So while playing the game, the players can enjoy a wide variety of features. So they can make a customised avatar. They'll be able to interact with all the different characters and also bots. They'll be able to enjoy battles. There'll be quests for them to do. They can add friends. and they can also earn the in-game currency Y coins.
Okay, so we want to keep this game as anonymous as possible because we feel that when people are stressing about their mental health issues, they don't want to be known as much. So when you sign up to YHelp, you'll only be asked 3 pieces of information: your first name, your age, and your email address. Obviously, you have to give a password for your account, but that's not a piece of information. But so we ask for the email address only for promotional emails and verifying the account. We ask for the name for the avatar of the character and the age to verify your age and for the servers. If you are under 18, you will be asked for your parents to give their email address instead.
So for the customizable avatars, I made a mock-up of kind of how they could look. So I made the mock-up using an app called Zapito. So this is how they could look with a 3D animation. So when the player signs up, they'll be able to customize their avatar, but they'll have limited customizations to begin with, and then there'll be a wide range of customizations available, such as, you know, tops, bottoms, costumes, props, etc., skins, that they can unlock using the in-game currency Y coins and through other means as well, which we'll discuss later on.
Okay, so the servers for the game itself. Basically, before you actually get into the game itself, you start off with a tutorial which teaches you the basic game mechanics and prepares you for when you're actually in the game. And after you leave the tutorial, you're put into like a lobby. But the lobbies are made specifically by age and skill. So there'll be obviously some skill in the game, but they're based on age. So you can talk to people of the same age as you, since most people generally talk to people in a similar age range to them. And we also decided that when you log in, you're greeted by a bot that will either make you feel better by giving you an inspirational quote or sell you something that to make you feel a little bit better, so you're going into the game with a positive mindset as opposed to a negative one.
Okay, so in this game we wanted no in-game purchases because we didn't want people that have more money to have a leverage over the people that don't. So we made an in-game currency called Y coins. Y coins are used in the game to buy purely cosmetic items, as again we don't want people that are more active, which we'll get into later, to have more of an advantage over people that aren't. There are multiple various ways of earning them. One of them being completing the quests, another one being completing mini games, or using the Tyne mobile app, or using the reward system from the promotions.
Alright, so conversations are a key part of the game because we wanted to connect players as much as possible, and that was also a key part of the initial brief. So what we did is we made having conversations with other players rewarded because players can earn Y coins, the in-game currency, by having conversations with other players. The amount of Y coins will be dependent on how long the conversation is, and additionally, players can have conversations with bots in the game as well if they, don't have another player to talk to. The bots also will be able to. I'll talk about that later. So when they're having conversations, to make it safe because of the wide age range of players that will be playing it, there will be a word filter on it. So if anything inappropriate is said, then it will send a message to the player who typed it, and it will say, we can't send this message, and it will tell them what they need to change. So also any information such as addresses or phone numbers will be filtered out as well. So onto the bots. So when players log on, they'll be greeted by a bot who will ask them something like, how is your day going, or how are you enjoying your time on YHelp? So players can choose to answer or not. Another feature is that the bots will also, there'll be bots around the map who will also ask these questions, and they'll also tell you about the Samaritans website. So if players are feeling lonely or they need any help, then they'll do that as well. Lonely players can connect to the bots if they can talk to bots if they're feeling lonely. And then another thing the bots can do is if there's 2 players talking to bots, the bots can offer to connect them so that they will talk to each other instead. But obviously, because the people playing it might be lonely, we don't want to do it in a way that will make them feel unwanted.
Okay, so another feature in YHelp will be ask for help. So this will be implemented when if a boss fight is too hard for a group of players and they've failed it multiple times, they will be given a vote, which they can vote for Ask for Help. What this vote will do is, if the majority of players agree to it, it will lessen the difficulty of the boss, it will lessen the difficulty of the boss, make it easier to defeat, but this will come at a cost. Because you've lessened the difficulty of the boss, you'll get less of a reward when you complete it. So say after completing this, you were meant to get 5 levels up, you would get 3 instead. So you're meant to get 3 Y coins after completing it, you'll only get 2. So everything comes at a cost.
So mini games are another important feature of the game because they offer a way for players to have fun when they're not doing quests. We thought a fun idea for a mini game would be cricket. So after they play the game of cricket, the mini game inside YHelp, they can also earn Y coins from this, and then afterwards they will be informed by YHelp about the Marylebone Cricket Club, and they'll be linked to their website where they can learn more about how they can, maybe start playing cricket and about what the Marylebone Cricket Club does.
So the mobile app, Tide mobile app, the main feature of this mobile app will be its ability to run in the background of your phone, and using a similar technology to Sweatcoin will count the amount of steps that the player is taking and transfer them into Y coins. We're hoping that this will encourage people to walk more and stay more fit by rewarding them for doing so. We hope that this will reach our goal. This will help reach our goal to keep our players physically fit and reach our goal. And on this app there will also be links to London Sport and UK Active for people to learn more about their sites and what they do. Another feature of the mobile app will be similar to the app Pokemon Go. What it will do is it will use GPS technology to put customizations around the world, and all players need to do is simply go within 10 meters of this object, click on it, and it will go to their account. Obviously when Pokemon Go was around, when it was popular, there was a lot of issues to do with safety, and that there was rewards in train tracks or roads or near busy roads, people getting hit by things, and it was horrible. So what we're going to do is we're going to try our best to avoid this by putting our rewards mostly in open fields, away from busy roads and train tracks, and keep them off of owned property because we don't want to cause any confusions.
Okay, so promotions. For promotions, we were thinking of having cosmetics that are specific to all of the sponsors. Let's say I had a character and I visited the Samaritans website. My character would get a little T-shirt with the Samaritans logo on it as a promotion for going to their website, and others for other things. Also, we have a menu. In the menu, we have tabs to the Samaritans website. So if you feel like the game just isn't doing enough for you, you can go to Samaritans for that extra bit of help. And I also wanted to bring up one more thing about the servers. We were thinking about using AWS since they're pretty good with servers. They're one of the biggest games in the world. Fortnite uses AWS servers, so we're pretty sure they're pretty good for the servers.
Amazing, not pretty good.
Pretty good, hey? Alright.
Okay, characters.
So, first of all, I need to say I joined the crew 2 days ago, so it's kind of difficult, and I got a bit of stammering as well. So first of all, my first character is Rex, that green one. All these characters are being done basically in a simple manner, and all these characters represent something. Like Rex, it represents lack of enjoyment in life. He tries to enjoy with someone, but it does not work well. And monkeys, I took monkeys because monkeys are meant to be fun, and I made it 4-armed and with no tail because made it the opposite to fun. So made it lack of enjoyment. And the next character is Kudan, the guy over here. He sits in a chair. He represents demotivation, and the drawing here shows that he sits in a chair and he has a helpful minion, and it doesn't do much well. So I got the inspiration from the Jungle Book King Louis, and okay, that's it. And next one is Moen, and it represents lack of validation by others. So she's jaded, and she doesn't consider about others. So she thinks like no one consider about her. So she's not the one. And there are 3 more characters, and I didn't do the drawing because I don't have the time. So the next character is Nestle. She is basically intelligent, and she thinks like other people are dishonest, and no one hangs out with her. So that's the other character. And the next character are twins, and they are Isopa and Thistle. Isopa is very productive, and Thistle, by the way, he is lazy. And these both guys doesn't want to do anything in their life. They're exactly something like sloths. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, for the marketing, we have a lot of different options that we could go with. So one way of marketing, we thought we could make game developer accounts on social media such as Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter and Facebook, where we'll share videos of the game development and concept art to get hype for the game. So we could also use YouTube and Twitch. So we could get people who make videos and streamers to talk about the game, which would also get attention for the game. And we could put a game trailer on YouTube, and that would be another way to market the game. We could also have a booth at games conventions, which would give people the opportunity to play a demo of the game. So, you know, they would get that first-hand experience of what it's like to play the game. And, yeah, that's all.
Okay, so the donations, we're just going to put that on the end because it's not the most important part, but we want players to know that it's there to help Samaritans out, help other charities out. So there'll be a page on the game that they'll be alerted of at the start of the game. There'll be no pressure towards the player to donate. They won't say donate or you don't get to play the game. They'll be like, well, if you want to help us out, then feel free to. A reflection. What do you want to say?
Okay. First of all, I need to thank them actually, because they just gave me just one section to explain. So I'm pretty feel so good right now. And 3 years ago, I tried to do 3 times suicide, and I failed. I actually failed, and I don't want to tell the reason, but so because of that, I came to London last year. So I just want to say it. So I feel much better right now. My parents don't know I was in a hostel. My mom and dad was away. So. Yeah, so some problems occurred, so I tried to do suicide like 3 times. I actually failed, like literally failed, and yeah, I feel so much better right now. And I had stage fright from my very when I was little, so right now, yeah, I feel so much better because of them. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not very good at public speaking, but I like procrastinate so many of the meetings. I didn't really want to be part of the project anymore for a bit, but then I was like, you know what, let's just get this done and over with. So I came back, put as much effort as I could into the project, and well, here I am today, I guess. And basically, I've just overall had a big confidence boost and been able to see myself in a better light.
Okay, so what I learned from this project that was important for me is number one, how important face-to-face meetings are, because I found that in the face-to-face meetings I could ask questions that I wouldn't think were that like enough of a big deal to talk about, say like in the group chat, but then like small questions that would come into my mind, we could really hash out the details if it was in a face-to-face meeting, because it's easy to just bring it up and then get an answer to it. Another thing that I have discovered is essential is really good communication. So obviously when I was making the budget, I had to know what everybody else was doing, how many hours they're spending on each thing, so that I'd know how much obviously our budget came to. And moving on from that, going for that, how important it is to be adaptable and to have like a problem-solving mentality, because we had issues in the group with communication. Like Nathan's phone was broken for a while, so it was difficult to communicate. So we really had to adapt to overcome that and be able to figure out how to communicate with each other and distribute the workload where we weren't able to communicate what everyone was doing at any given time. And also how important collaborative working is. So in the final steps of the project, making the presentation and everything, we all needed to work on the presentation at once. So basically we used Google Slides to do that. So technology was really important for that, to be able to work all together on the same thing at once.
Okay, so I've stage fright. I've hidden behind this podium so you can't see me shaking. So I'm going to just be honest, when I was younger I was bullied a bit, and that really pushed my self-confidence and I became very anxious. And just getting up on stage and talking in front of people or showing myself in front of people didn't become hard because I could do it, but it just made me very anxious and made me not want to do it. But I didn't know about Samaritans, and I didn't know about all these things that can help us out. But now that I have the chance, it's good that I have the chance to make it so that children that aren't me, so children today, know about it and don't have to go through it again. And I'd just like to thank you guys for this opportunity to try and make something of it and help out children these days. So thank you.